Good evening, everybody. How are we all doing? And welcome back to House of Racing. I've forgotten to change the title. That shouldn't be F2, that should be F1. Whoopsie daisy, ignore me. That's very stupid of me. I always forget to do that. F1, done. Updated. Right. We are here for our final round of the season. We've got round 12 at Abu Dhabi. It should be a pretty good race. Well, we're waiting. I think we're waiting on probably a couple more people to join. At least I hope so. Anyway, because we've only got 13 at the moment. I'm probably no. It is just the message. Um, yeah, I think we are still waiting on a couple more people. It is obviously the final race of the season, so we should be figuring out where everybody's finishing at the end of the season. I'm just going to take a little look at the Drivers' Championships, and we can see Jenga Boy has already won the World Championship, uh, but the fight for third and fourth is still not over. Chimp, JST, and Chaldinho. I'm pretty sure Lancer is now secured second place as well. Yep. Sorry, I am just reading what is everything on here at the moment. Um, So back 65, back 75. So there's a 10-point gap between them, but there is what a near 30-point gap between them. 28 points. Yeah, so we got a secured second place as well with DRL Lancer. So that means our top two is already decided. Is our constructors decided? I'm pretty sure. No. Oh no, it's very much not. Right. Okay. So constructor standings are going to be the ones we're focusing on this evening. Williams currently sits at the top of the tables with 179 points. Mercedes AMG currently sit second at 172. So only 7 points between them. Aston Martin as well, just below on 160 points, puts them within shooting range of both 19 points down to the fastest, or so the best team at Williams. However, Williams and Mercedes have obviously got that advantage of just over 19 and 12 points respectively to the back of Aston Martin. Aston Martin have also got problems with Haas, who are on 142 points just behind them. So they're all within shouts of getting some really good results out of each other, and we could see everything change by the end of this race. My predictions, well, Williams and Mercedes, I think is going to be either way. Is going to be our winners. I doubt. I do doubt Aston Martin sneaking it up there, but it is very possible. And I believe, looking at agreeing with me, Jenga Boy is in agreement. And yeah, it is 6 o'clock. We should be getting going anytime soon. I've just had an everyone good luck. And we should be very soon getting a Let's Go Green because we should be. It's 1 minute past 6. Any moment now. Windex bottle cap telling us stuff that none of us wanted to know. Chardino is in. Come on. When we going? When we going? You know what? I do like a uh, a title fight, but a constructors fight is just that bit more interesting because you've got both cars in it. You know, if one car falls off, then all of a sudden it's a lot of work for the other person to try and get that result. Because honestly, I can imagine that being very difficult to do. Let's go Gabby, or is that supposed to be baby? I've genuinely got no idea because I don't know if is there a Gabby. No. Oh yeah, no, it is Williams. Oh right, okay. So yeah, Gabby and Jenga Boy, very important, as well as Chimp and McLeany are going to be our sort of big names, if that makes sense. They are going to be the important ones. As we wait for something to happen, I'm not quite sure what's going on as to why we've got a delay, but we do. So we'll just sit by for now. Bar this though, Abu Dhabi, obviously circuit change, so it should be a little bit quicker through Sector 3 in particular. Hope for some more overtaking opportunities. We saw in some of the major leagues recently that coming out of that long left-hander, you have got to be careful with cars on the outside. Because they do have a tendency to just slightly nudge off a little bit too fast. So it will be interesting to see how these guys deal with it and how they cope. I think they'll do pretty well. They are all good drivers. There's never too much contact in this league. I am a fan. Also, it's nice to be back. It's been a while. I do apologise. It turns out the reason why everything kept crashing and whatnot is because my internet, where it comes from the ground into my house, all the wires were loose, so it just stopped randomly. It just kept stopping and starting. Either way, a fella's come round. He said, "Oh yeah, we got some. They're barely touching each other now. Oh, I'll just plug them in again and a fresh router. So I'm now on Wi-Fi 6 as well." Which means I think I'm pulling about 400 megabits a second. So if it goes down again, that is a definite blame EA because it ain't my fault. Alrighty, we've got 17 drivers and we've got quite a few of them that have readied up. So I do hope that means that we are going. Soonish, anyway. I'm hoping that whilst we like a stressful race, we saw in Singapore today, unfortunately I didn't get to watch that. I was refereeing instead. I had to give 3 people yellow cards. Well, I'm hoping that no disciplinary action has to be taken place here. Righty. Nice that we are finally going in. 18 minutes of qualifying as per into a 50% race. Do apologise for that noise, just readjusting the microphone. I don't really know what to say, to be honest. I'm looking forward to it. I might eat a chocolate bar, get some energy in me. Righty, let's have it. Right, let's play. Who are we missing? We have got one Red Bull missing. We have got one AlphaTauri missing. We have got both Alpines. We have both Haas. We have both. We don't have both. Right, we're missing out Alfa Romeo, Ferrari, and a Red Bull. That was easy. I didn't like how easy that was. Right, we got some cars moving. It's what we love to see. Make sure. Oi. Yeah, I've got plenty of charge in my battery. I've been having my controller on charge this entire time. Let's have a little look at a full track map, shall we? We've got a McLaren who's going to be leading us out. Wave is going to be our first man for the day. I've got to say, this game, right, it can be a bit meh on occasion, but I really do quite like it at night. It is quite pretty. It is quite pretty at night. I have to give it to it. They haven't done too bad of a job. Either way, he'll be coming up to start his lap soon, so do keep an eye out on it. It should be... I'm going to say something. I can't even remember. Oh, dear. I don't think I have dementia. Right, well, we got most of the pack out at the moment. We're missing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 as of right now. They're all remaining in the pit lane, perhaps trying the alternate strategy, keeping a pair of fresh, soft tyres. As Wave manages to get himself underway. Interestingly enough, he's driving with a Red Bull helmet in a McLaren car. Not quite sure how that one works, but there we go. Either way, he's coming down now to infamous turn 5. Get slightly later here, especially when you're going for a move. Slightly later on the apex can really aid you down this DRS straight. He'll be wanting to go pretty medium though. It is quite a long straight, but corner entry through there is vital. And you'll get up to top speed pretty much with ERS and DRS easily through that section of the track. And going through here as well, you'll also get up to top speed along this back straight, albeit it's slightly shorter. Both are quite good opportunities for overtaking, but you can also use the first one to catch and then the second one to pass, which I think is probably the more common, rather than going for the move at the chicane, because then obviously you've got DRS for the guy behind. You don't want that. Coming through and under the hotel now, I've got to say that is one of my favourite additions of the Abu Dhabi circuit. Is just the fact that it integrates with the hotel quite nicely. Either way, he's coming around the final corner. And what's going to be our benchmark time? It's going to be a 1:23.3. We've got an Aston Martin coming around the corner now. That'll probably be Kah. He goes fastest, 1:22.6. Next driver along going to be Williams. It is Jenga Boy to start a lap. Next man across is it is Gabby. He starts. Chimp goes second fastest with a 1:22.8, and the next Mercedes McLeany goes P3 23 23 dead. Sorry. A couple more drivers coming across the line now. We've got Astronomy is what, a 1:23.5. And an AlphaTauri through next. That will be Irian. I'm not even going to... No, not a clue. Not a Scooby-Dooby-Doo. Windex bottle cap, though. He is driving at the moment. Let's see what he can do. He goes P3 with the fastest Sector 3 time. McLaren also comes through. That's it's your boy Alfie. Starting a lap. What else I want to look at? Gets the leader. That's far more interesting and a lot more readable. Don't know why people do it other ways. But interestingly enough, Jenga Boy has slowed down for this lap and either is going to come in or he's going to go for another lap. But I don't know whether he has the fuel, if I'm honest. Next driver through is the Aston Martin of DRL Lancer, along with interestingly enough, Kah has just gone again and nearly puts it in the wall. Not quite sure why he didn't pit, if I'm honest. That could have gone catastrophically wrong very easily. Either way, both Mercedes, by the looks of it, into the pit lane as the McLaren keeps going. That's Wave going out for another lap, interestingly enough. Iran goes P7 with that lap time, just half a second back. With our next man coming across the line will be Jono, but he's in the pit lane. Red Bull through next, that'll be Chaldinho. Let's see where he can go. He'll go for another lap, interestingly. Well, that'll be why Cab went for another lap, because he's gone fastest. 1:22.6. And at the moment, it is looking slap bang even. It's looking favourable in the, Mercedes hands. P2 and P6 for them, whereas P3 and P11, though to be fair, Jenga Boy hasn't gone through and set a proper time yet. He's gone and put a purple sector 2 in. It could be, it's ropes for Mercedes right now. Let's see how he does. It's a nice corner through. He's just got to make sure sector 3 flows. Sector 3 is all about the flow. If something's a bit jagged, it's probably slow. The flow is not slow. Let's see how he gets on a proper poet, me. He's going to go P2. 0.1 of a second back. So at the moment, the Aston Martin of Cat is still currently very strong in comparison to everybody else. But Jenga Boy and Chimp extremely close to each other. And Gabby not that far back either. McClaney right now is looking like the weakest link as Chaldinho goes and puts it fastest for the Red Bull team. He's P2 in the driver's standings, so it's unsurprising that he's doing rather well as of this second. Let me whack open Discord just to keep track of points. It's probably a good idea. Sorry, I lie. Chaldinho isn't. It's DRL Lancer, who's currently on an outlap. So we'll keep an eye on him because he'll be one to watch as he goes down the back straight. Expect, in theory, P4 or above. Well, as of right now, not too much action on track. A lot of people going for outlaps, so we're getting ready for wave 2 of inbound laps. That's the right word, isn't it? Yeah, inbound laps. We'll take that. We'll take that. But let's be honest here. This is the one to watch. I'm expecting him really. He could put it up here with his team. Oh, he's come in. Interesting. Can't say I was expecting that. Yeah, he's come into the pit lane. I've genuinely no idea. Genuinely none whatsoever. Astronomy is the only man out on a fast right now. He's currently P11. He's bottom of the standings. He's just shy of a second, but he has gone purple sector 1. I don't know, man. I don't know. That's impressive, though, to be fair. Sorry, I do apologise. I got quite a good sleep as well, but I just can't think of... Oh, right. DRL Lancer has just retired. Second in the championship has retired without setting a lap. What's going on? What's occurring? Because I am so confused. Right. At the moment, sorry, I was just reading the chat, and it is saying roughly along the lines of Car is set to receive a quali ban for impeding during this qualifying session. As of right now, he sits P2 with shy of a second. So let's be honest here, he's not doing all that bad. It will have to be the first race of next season. As the AlphaTauri, all of a sudden, right, we are getting some interesting changes. Iran has just gone fastest. Now ZN has absolutely flown above everybody else, has put pretty much everybody else's lap times in the bin. McClaney, who was looking at a very strong position for a short period, is now all the way down in P5, nearly half a second off the pace. And Jonathan as well, who was doing quite well, now half a second back. Jenga Boy is going to have to do a lot of work if he wants to catch up here. He's got half a second to chop out, along with Chimp and along with Gabby, who are all considerably far behind. And at the moment, Gabby not looking brilliant. Just half a tenth of a second faster is not enough to really, if I'm honest. Speedy is coming through sector 2 now, and we'll be heading into sector 3. Let's see how he's getting on. He's actually gone slower. Oh dear. Oh dear. All of a sudden, some of the fastest gentlemen on track are not looking in a very good position. Jenga Boy goes fastest sector 2, but he's going to have to claw quarter of a second out of sector 3. I'm not quite sure where he's going to get it from, but everybody's really turned up the tempo there, as that is a Alpine. I think that was not Jono, it's the other one. It's Astronomy who was stopped on track there for a brief moment in time. Jenga Boy is going to be the next man across the line along with his teammate. His teammate goes P3 now. It was P2, now P3. Can Jenga Boy improve? Yes, he does, but only to P3. So the two Williams sit behind the two Hasses and in front of the two McLarens. Almost perfect lines up, eh? Almost perfect. Well, they've tried to get a little bit closer to ZN. I mean, JST practically running identical speeds, 0.08 of a second slower. I mean, these two are just phenomenal together, aren't they? The Hash duo. I'm amazed that they aren't doing as well as the calendar. The statistics show that they aren't that good, when actually they can really put on a good show, especially in qualifying. I mean, ZN is P7 in the championship, and JST is... Can't actually see him. Where is he? JST's P4. So JST's doing considerably better at the moment, but is basically relative speeds, especially on this track. That is practically identical and quite interesting to look at, really. One thing that is interesting is Ferrari, it's not their day, is it? I mean, they are currently P15 and 17, respectively. Whereas every other team is still doing semi-okay. Importantly, though, to much of Williams' delight, the Mercedes boys seem off the pace. P13 and P10 for both of them. So I can see this being a bit problematic. Interestingly enough as well, Chimp is coming out early to do his lap. I guess he's also factoring in the possibility of making a little mistake and going again. That gives him the opportunity to. Only thing that is, it comes at the downside of tyre wear. So they'll have slightly worse tyre wear than other drivers around them. And when you are in a constructors fight, what you need is good tyre wear. Unfortunately for them, that is the risk that he has chosen. His teammate, though, McClaney, is not going for it. He is going for the one lap with basically no ability to be wrong in it. You've got to absolutely nail it. So interesting choice of tactics going into the end of this race. Oh, it's a race. This isn't a race. It's qualifying. I think seeing how Chimp's going to do is going to really... I don't know, explain how the rest of this qualifying session is going to go. Because they need, if they have an absolute storming lap, then expect other people to have good laps. But if they don't have the best of laps, then, I don't know, possibly expect Don't expect terrible, but expect the order to stay roughly similar. It could get completely mixed up here. Chimp is a tenth faster, nearly 2 tenths faster in the first sector alone. He's got half a second to close down. So this could be pretty close, especially if he gets a very good sector 3. I don't know about sector 2. Sector 2's got one braking zone and that's it. But it is a braking zone that matters, because down the back straight you could lose 2 tenths quite easily if you mucked it up. So let's see how he does. Coming into sector 3 now, he's actually gained a bit of time, which isn't ideal. He'll want to be going quicker than that, especially through sector 3. See how he gets on. We've got top 4 out on outlaps at the moment. And Wave already going for his lap. Cialdini's already finished his lap. And then down to P11 is all outlaps. I think everybody else is now on their flyer. So Chimp comes across the line, goes P3. Okay, that could throw a bit of a spanner in the works, especially for Jenga Boy and Gabby. Importantly, though, the two Hasses have decided to come out together, and JST has been put as the lead car, with ZN just behind him, a couple of seconds back. Though I don't feel like they are close enough to each other to be getting a tow. They're not. They're nowhere near close enough to each other. People who are close enough, though, is Chimp and McClaney. And Chimp has been giving McClaney the straight line speed of an absolute century down that back straight. Genius move there. As Chimp's already finished his lap, so he could pull out of the way. Windex bottle cap there now finished. As the Williams gets awfully close. Now JST 10th up. ZNQ will probably be on similar sort of statistics. Let's see how they do. It will be JST through first, then ZN, then McClaney, then the two sets of Williams drivers who are also together. JST goes to the top of the leaderboard. ZN doesn't improve. Importantly, ZN does not improve. So now it's all up to JST. McClaney improves, but it's going to be nowhere near enough. Gabby invalidated lap. So it's now down to Jenga Boy, who also invalidates. Oh, that's thrown a spanner in the works, hasn't it? Cialdini is also on a lap, but he's 2 tenths down on his time. So that leaves it now down to Ilyan, who's still in with a shout here. Cat invalidated. AlphaTauri could come from the depths of P11 here, all the way up to pole position. What is he going to do? What's he going to get? He's going to come across the line. It's going to be P3! Oh, wow. That's an incredible lap. Fair play as Jonathan comes across the line on an invalidated lap. I think it's now just Astronomy to go, who's going awfully slowly. So there we go, ladies and gentlemen. JST picks up pole position for our final race of the season. And it is a Haas front row lockout, but only just. The AlphaTauri there, he had his chance, didn't he? He had a good opportunity. Importantly, though, both Williams cars invalidating. Could we see a lot of penalties? I think we can. I think we can see quite a few penalties taking place here. That's my fear. That is kind of what I'm thinking is going to happen right now. Either way, JST there on pole position for the Haas team, with ZN as his teammate in P2. The AlphaTauri and Chimp will start P3 and 4, and title contenders Jenga Boy and Gabby will have a third row lockout for the Williams team. And McClaney, the other championship contender, along with Chimp, making a nice Mercedes sandwich. Cialdini P8 in the Red Bull with Windex P9 in AlphaTauri. Ishboy Alfie P10 with Wave in P11. Cat in P12. Jonathan P13 and Jono P14. Astronomy in P15. Robert Moss in P16. Chap in P17. And DRL Lancer in P18. With P17 and 18 both not completing a lap. Right. Wait for the players. Then they have, what, 30 seconds to sort themselves out. I don't know whether that's included in the waiting for players time. Surely not, because this is when everyone's loading in. Imagine if you loaded in and there was only 5 seconds to go before lights out or the formation lap. That'd be brutal. Load. Come on. Here we go. 2, 3, 4, 5. Red lights. And we're away. And it's a great start for ZN, who moves into the lead of the race almost immediately. Chimp is going to remain in P3 for now as he gets past the AlphaTauri on launch, but the two Hasses remain in those front 2 positions. They were untouchable off of the line, but it was an absolutely phenomenal start by ZN there as he just got earlier and with much better traction, and now everybody runs into turn 5. This is the good opportunity to start looking for some overtakes, and you can see it down the back of the grid. Lots of people going at each other here, and even towards the front of the grid, you've got Jenga Boy here in P4 now, absolutely soaring, and he's probably going to want to go for Chimp here as they go side by side. The Mercedes just behind them. It's going to be 3 wide just behind Jenga Boy. Who's going to get the position? By the looks of it, it's going to be the AlphaTauri with very good late braking. The two Mercedes as well. They're probably not going to want to fight too hard. They need to work together to get good points on the board and get themselves in a position where they can win this championship. It all comes down to this race. They don't want to be taking each other out of it. I'm getting almost terrible Spain 2016 flashbacks. Well, it was a good start for quite a lot of drivers, wasn't it? And we're already beginning to see a bit of a gap form between Lancer and Chaldinho, as sort of where the pack is beginning to split up a tad. As a little bit of contact there and a little bit of contact there. As Wave retires from the session, that's going to bring out a full-blown safety car on lap 1. It is a full safety car on lap 1 because of that instance. Not quite sure what happened, but he parked it around the triple right, I'm pretty certain. Or maybe, I think it was just going underneath the bridge he's managed to park it. Absolutely no idea whatsoever how that was caused. But it's going to happen. It's happened. And we've got a safety car. Cracking. Oh, God, that's good timing, isn't it? He kept that right down to the very last second. Either way, it shouldn't be too long of a safety car period. Obviously, we've got the benefit of everybody's still bunched up, except for one driver, Chap. Chap, being the absolute mad lad he is, has decided that he's going to pit, obviously, for damage. I can only imagine that that is the reasoning for it. Well, other than that, it wasn't too much of a grid change. Jenga Boy had an absolutely phenomenal start. He's moved his way up to P3. It's a 2-place position game for him. And obviously demoting the AlphaTauri down to P4. Chimp obviously didn't get a good start either. But McClaney as well up to P6, which puts a big gap between Jenga Boy and Gabby. Whereas Chimp and McClaney could possibly work with each other after the safety car restart to move up the field. Or, importantly, to keep Gabby behind. I'm not too sure how it stands with these positions and what the championship is looking like. If anybody wants to do the maths, they're more than welcome to. Please do let me know. That would be wonderful. It is standard points. What compounds is everybody on? Let's have a little look, shall we? That's a brilliant question. ZN and JST have both decided to start on the medium tyre as well as Jenga Boy. That would kind of explain the AlphaTauri's drop off a little bit because he's started on the hards. He's going for the alternative strategy. But pretty much everybody in the top 10, bar 2, is your boy Alfie as well, has gone for those hards, have gone for the medium tyre. Interestingly enough, though, I've got absolutely no idea what he's doing. He's gone for the soft tyre, which is very different to what everybody else has gone for. Really, you would reserve the soft tyre for late race safety car, but he's decided to go for it, which is honestly fair enough. We're going for probably one more lap on this safety car. I doubt we'll have a lap after that. A chap has rejoined us. Other than this, though, it is a predominant medium to hard idea, and then I'm guessing hard to medium is our second option. And then CAS 70M is just, I honestly don't know. 2 softs and a hard, maybe. But it's quite a lot. It's problem with Abu Dhabi is it's a very long pit stop, because obviously pit stops at the same time, but being in the pit lane is often different. Silverstone has one of the longest ones, which is why you always see a one-stop race there, whereas other tracks like Monza have quite a short pit lane. So you see more regular two-stoppers. Interestingly enough, though, he's decided on Abu Dhabi, a track with quite a long pit lane, to go for a two-stopper. Or he must be going for a two-stopper. You're not going to let those softs last and then move on to the hards. It isn't going to happen over 29 laps. But it'll be interesting to see what he does. Well, ZN will be our man to lead us from this. The safety car is in this lap. It's, oh, God, look at that. It's almost like I could guess it, eh? I don't know whether the Hasses are communicating to each other, but if they are, this is a really good opportunity to pull away from Jenga Boy. This really is a good opportunity. There is inter-team communications. There is actually, on the Discord server, you can... Each team does have a voice chat. I'm just not sure how regularly they're used. I don't think they're used at all. No, they're all empty. So, who knows? They could have been able to communicate to each other and have a little chat and say, yeah, right, I'm going in 3, 2, 1, go. But they obviously decided to not. As we're coming up to the final corner and he still hasn't gone. He's going to have to go any second, and he's gone right at the very final corner, and that has left quite a big gap between him and his teammate. But it's an equal gap back to the Williams. But the Williams is under threat at the moment from AlphaTauri's. I still don't know how to pronounce that. And Chimp also very close behind as well. McClaney also not quite off to as good of a start, and the Williams still sits considerably behind. But by the looks of it, no major moves into turn 5. As everybody gets through safely. The AlphaTauri there getting a little bit just off of line. Windex bottle cap that was. As we can see a couple of cars beginning to bunch. Have a little look down the inside. We got a 3-way battle going on just here. As that's not the driver I wanted to look for. It's these guys back here, isn't it? His car who manages to break free out of all of that. And just ahead as well, look at this. We got Jenga Boy and the AlphaTauri. He's going to have to go all the way around the outside. This was the move I was talking about. He's staying in place. And, oh, it's a little wiggle off of the end of that corner that nearly let Jenga Boy have the opportunity to get back through again. But we saw it there, didn't we? That Jenga Boy had to get a little bit on the curb. Which probably isn't the best thing because that curb is quite unstable. We've seen a couple of collisions take place in other leagues, quite higher up leagues. So I think a lot of people will be quite aware of that fact and look after that in that knowledge that that is what is occurring. And it didn't look too bad throughout that incident, so we can only hope that it remains nice and clean for the rest of it. Bar this, though, we've still got some decent fighting, and what we've got at the moment is Williams beginning to have these championship hopes slip away from them as the Williams driver loses out to that Red Bull car. He can only hope to stay with a Red Bull car, and Cialdini, getting past the two Mercedes. That would lose them a considerable amount of points as well, which would be very beneficial to the Mercedes driver, especially considering the fact that Jenga Boy is now down in P4 rather than P5. He hasn't got quite as big of an advantage on Chimp and McClaney as he did previously. He's going to need to probably take that position back because as of right now, those Mercedes in very good positions indeed. Well, there we go. There's Cialdini trying to go round the outside here of the Mercedes. Mercedes holds it nicely through the long left. He'll keep that position for now, but it's obvious that Cialdini wants past, and he's very close going into the chicane. Look at that. That was awfully tight. As I'm absolutely loving this helicopter view. It's a shame that we can't have this view all the time because it gives us a really clear... Oh, safety car. Another one. Another safety car. Now, not every driver has passed the pit lane entry. Who's going... Oh, there we go. That is TT Robert. Currently wingless, which will be the root cause of that safety car. Not quite sure what happened. But there we go. Nice glass of water. Well, not an awful lot changed, did it, since the first safety car and the second? A couple of positions moved. Chaldinho obviously getting up those couple of places, but our top order remains pretty much the same. It'll be good to see some additional racing. After this, I'm hoping that we actually start to have some non-safety car periods. It's always well liked. A good safety car is always nice, but at the right times. And right now, this isn't the right time. Let's take a little look and see what's happening in general right now. Absolutely nothing. So I'm hoping the next lap will get going. Maybe not. Might be the lap after. I'm going to quickly grab a bit of food. I'm very hungry. Oh, sorry. Alrighty, we are finally getting ourselves underway again, which is ideal. It's only been 3 laps. It really didn't have to be 3 laps. But either way, thoroughly looking forward to it. We need some action. We need some action. We need to get going. It'll be ZN leading us off the start. As per once again. And once again, leaving it exactly to the same point to go. And he's got an even better of a start. But that is a big mistake there by the AlphaTauri team. That could get him in quite serious trouble. But luckily, he gets away with it. Importantly, though, that's Gabby there having to defend massively from DLR Lancer, who gets himself up into P6, which puts, importantly, both Williams are in a mare right now. Okay, Jenga Boy has obviously got the strategic advantage because he's now on fresh hards, which might just make it to the end of the race. It'll be tight. They'll be absolutely broken by the end of it, but they'll make it there. What's that? That looks like Lancer's going to try a little move there on the Mercedes already. So Lancer really hammering it at the moment. Obviously, Chardinho joined Jenga Boy in that strategic battle. And by the looks of it, the Aston Martin is going to go for it now. He moves up into P5 and gets a move done pretty nicely as well. No, there's no nothing whatsoever. Lovely stuff. But interestingly, look at this here. He's getting closer and closer, isn't he? The AlphaTauri now beginning to put quite a lot of pressure on JST. And I could see some good racing taking place here. Look at this from DRL Lancer. Up 13 places from P18. I mean, that's impressive, isn't it? Up to P5 in just 10 laps, of which many have been behind the safety car. He's really made the most of every opportunity he's gotten so far, and he is driving like it. As of right now, no penalties either, which is wonderful. We love a penaltyless game. There is that Aston Martin driving effortlessly. As by the looks of it, the AlphaTauri has backed off a little bit of JST, but he's got the Mercedes to worry about now. And look at this. Just behind McClaney and Gabby. Gabby is going to go for it down the inside. Is he going to get the move made? Yes, he is. That puts Gabby up to P6 now and McClaney down to P7. Could be a vital overtake in the Constructors' Championship that you have just witnessed there. But it is going to be all to play for because on the way back, it's just as easy to go for the move. But the Mercedes decides to hang out of it for now. He knows that there's the other Mercedes in front. He knows that Jenga Boy isn't doing brilliantly right now, so there is good opportunity for the Mercedes to just drive pretty nicely, make the most of what tyres they're on, pardon me, and hopefully pick up their Constructors' Championship, or at least that'll be hopefully for them. Gabby knows that it's all to play for, and as of right now, it is in his hands. All he needs to do is just get consistent, and importantly, get underneath that second, which at the moment he's failing to do because that is going to really open the door for McClaney to re-overtake. And also that prevents him the opportunity of going back at DRL Lancer. So these guys beginning to pull away a little bit, which is problematic for some and wonderful for others. Obviously, Chimp being in that battle for the lead is ideal, especially for the Mercedes team. Williams won't be liking it quite so much. And look at this here. JST goes down the inside. So he takes the lead of this race. The two houses just swapping positions there for a little bit. Let's see if they swap back again, because I doubt it was very team ordery. And by the looks of it, no, he's not going to make the move. He is just going to sit behind his teammate for now. They know that they can swap and chop and change as much as they need to or want to. Make the most out of both drivers and, you know, get every ounce of lap time out of them, because that can always be optimized with different drivers being in the lead at different points during a lap. But we can see at the moment The overtakes have begun to die down a little bit. It's your boy Charlie, sorry, Alfie. He's currently one of our closest drivers. And what's happened here to Gabby? He's gotten a little bit loose and was driving quite slowly out of that start-finish straight. That's now 2 seconds behind DRL Lancer. So not going well for him whatsoever. And really pushing it through those S's. He did keep P6 though. Importantly for him, but he's not gaining any time, is it? All he's doing is losing it. Look at this chap. Goes round the outside at 5. It's a brilliant little overtake, isn't it? It is now going to give an amazing tow to his teammate, who can then go for it. But by the looks of it, it's going to be 3 wide, perhaps. It is going to be 3 wide. Who's going to come out on top? I think it's going to be the Alpinders. Oh, bit of a squash and a squeeze there for all the drivers involved. One ghosts, the other 2 don't. And all of a sudden that's opened the door for the AlphaTauri. And what's that? Jenga Boy behind to get in on the action. It's going to be another 3 wide by the looks of it. No, the Red Bull gets himself into slotted position. And look at this absolute carnage. Those two going practically side by side now. And it's another 3 wide situation. Jenga Boy wants to get in on this action now. He knows that he needs to start getting involved in getting some overtakes done. If he wants to get himself back inside of this race, all it's going to do is slow him down right now. He knows that, and that's why he's going for the moves. Or at least that's why he's trying to find opportunities to go for the moves like that. Tried to come out a little bit early and take the Ferrari. Couldn't quite succeed. He's going to have to go for another lap behind them, and he's well too far back. Luckily, though, for him, Chap's had an absolute nightmare, gone well off the track, so he takes that position. But it's only up to P13 as of right now, really. He wants to be up P12, P11, P10, and it's just not happening. Up at the top as well, DRL Lancer has caught up to the rest of the group. Importantly as well, with Gabby not that far behind. And Chimp is currently still sitting in P4 as of right now. Just slightly further back, these guys are beginning to spread out a little bit. As of right now, this is our closest battle between P4 and P5. Pressed that the wrong way. And look at this. The Haas, after losing that position down the straight, is going to try and go for it a little further forward. It does go slightly offline, and that's lost him a fair amount of time, especially considering the fact that he didn't make the overtake. Has opened the door for the Mercedes to get through. Unfortunately, he couldn't take it. But he's well aware that the Haas is prone to making mistakes, and he will go for any opportunities that it gives him to get himself back up into P2. But as of right now, ZN driving well as DRL Lancer comes into the pit lane, interestingly enough, for his tyre stop. What's he gone on to? He's gone on to the hards, interestingly enough. Right, well, I think he's going to go for it. Back here, isn't he? He is. He's going to have the outside line. And it's great braking by the AlphaTauri, who is currently in recovery mode. So the Haas is going to have to go once again through the long left. Is it going to be enough? He's going to have to be outside once again. Slightly later on the brakes, and he does get the move, in fact, done. Great little opportunity there. And what is going on here? These drivers all so very close. Oh, there goes round the Ferrari and nearly takes his teammate out in the process, who comes swooping out. Oh, guys, a good job he ghosted. Otherwise, that would have been car out. Completely out. That's a full T-bone there. That would have been an absolutely brutal accident had it occurred. Well, Jenga Boy up to P9 and now right on the back of Mercedes as many begin to start pitting, interestingly enough. ZN in, Chimp in, Gabby in. All of those medium tyres beginning to go off, and it's now onto the hards. Interestingly enough, though, those medium tyres lasted 15 laps. Those hard tyres are going to last sort of 19-20, I think. Which could be really, really beneficial for drivers like Jenga Boy, who've still got 10 laps easily on their tyres left. Especially considering many of those were under the safety car as well. I feel like you should be able to get sort of 10 more laps out of his tyres onto 18. Because that's an extra 3 laps. And there we go. There is him past McClaney. Gets the move secured just there. So what's that? 10 laps to go. I think it is probably still a set of mediums. Yes. If he can stretch it out 1 or 2 laps more, maybe, I reckon soft tyres. Soft tyres to the end of the race against people that are going to be on worn hards. I can't lie. I feel like I see a winner here. I don't know about you, but I feel I see a winner coming along. If Jenga Boy is on that much of an alternative strategy, that's so beneficial. So in comes JST, in comes Ilyan. Shaldinho as well is also on that same tactical approach as Jenga Boy. So those two are going to be working sort of part in part on their alternative strategies. And I mean, look at this. JST at the moment, P7. Is he going to come out before or after his teammate? I think he's going to come out after. Yeah, it is. A brilliant undercut there by ZN and Chim. It's going to be considerably further back for JST and Ilyan as oh god, Gabby comes out really close to them. They've lost nearly a second of time going slightly later on it. And look at this from the Williams. He's going to go round the outside of JST here. Now all he needs is a good enough acceleration and exit. And he gets it with DRS wide open as well. That means he's probably, I'd say that JST's coming for him. Down the inside he's going to have to go. Move not made just yet. They're still side by side, very close to one another. The Williams is going to have the slightly better exit over the Haas, who has to go onto the rumble strips significantly, but it's still good exit for both drivers, who are now going to have to go down the inside. All of a sudden, the Williams has got to focus on the McLaren that's just slightly further out as they nearly collide there. The Williams has to back out ever so slightly, losing 2 places in that incident. Shaldinho as well. Absolutely flying, by the way. He's on this same strategy as Jenga Boy, those early pits onto those hard tyres. And, well, it is working, isn't it? 3.5 seconds between them, and Shaldinho leads comfortably, and I think he will lead comfortably for some time. All of our other racing possible winners currently rocking hard tyres, which will be about 15, 16 laps old by the end of the race, bar the AlphaTauri, who obviously started on the hard, so he's now on the mediums. Slightly better for him, the fact that he's managed to keep up on the hard tyres, and now moving to those mediums, he should be able to overtake and pull away a little bit. But I think Shaldinho and Jenga Boy right now, great positions for them. And the Red Bull really looking good. Speaking of, there is the AlphaTauri getting past. As the McLaren goes past Ishiboy Alfie, manages to get himself past JST as Gabby rounds out the group, who's still looking in a half-decent position, but with absolutely no DRS whatsoever. Nothing at all. He's used every last inch of it, and you can't help but feel bad, can you? Driving pretty well, though. Nevertheless, everybody's keeping themselves pretty close indeed. As Zedden currently sits P7 in this race compared to McClaney, who's really letting these hards run. I think at this point he must be considering. Wait, no, hang on a minute. I reckon these hards could probably go to the end. I mean, only just, but they could. Like, oh, safety car. Right. Spanner in the works. What caused that? Ferrari stopped on track. Robert Moss. Must be. Front wingless? Wingless. Yeah, Robert. Robert's had a collision, and it's a safety car. That is the fattest spanner in the works you will ever see. Everyone softs. Everyone on softs. Has to be. Couple of laps of racing, everyone's going to pit to those soft tyres. This puts everyone on a playing level field. Importantly, though, or unfortunately for some, I think as of right now, Williams are losing this championship. I think McClaney and Chimp both being in the points is making them... No, I think they probably... No, Williams is leading. Williams has to be leading. Because Chimp's only picking up 2 points. McClaney picks up 12 to Jenga Boys 18. So they're still 4 points lower. And with a 6-point advantage, Williams is still comfortably in the lead of this race right now. As in comes, and I will repeat this, everybody, nobody stays out. Surely not. Ilian's decided to stay out. What is... Everybody's in. Alpine Astronomy stays out as well. I guess track position when you're all the way down in P15 does make a difference. As you can just see, some people... Oh, interestingly, some people switching to mediums. Others switching to softs. So, whereabouts is Jenga Boy? Jenga Boy's gone for fresh mediums. McClaney's gone for fresh softs. ZN's gone fresh softs. Jonathan, fresh mediums. Lancer, fresh softs. Jim to Gabby, fresh mediums. Jono, fresh softs. And Robert Moss, fresh softs. So, wow, interestingly, a lot of fresh mediums. So I'm guessing drivers like Cialdini are betting, and Jenga Boy respectively, must be betting on the fact that those soft tyres are going to be dead by the end of the race. It's tight. It's going to be really tight. People that can drive quickly on those softs, but also conserve them, will be in a massive advantageous position. Whereas people that can't have had it. Which I think is why some drivers have gone for that, because they think that, actually, no, if I'm driving these softs for sort of 10 laps or so, they're going to be ruined by the end of it. And that is kind of understandable. 10 laps is a long time on these softs. I think a couple of laps under the safety car is doing them good. If there's a virtual safety car at any point, or another safety car, softs prevail. I think if there's another virtual, because not as many people will pit, rather than a full safety car. But this could go down to the wire. This really could. I think Chimp needs to get himself in a position. I mean, right now, this is Williams' title to lose, isn't it? Jenga Boy sits above McClaney, and they're the only two in the points as it stands, meaning that those guys are essentially the only two that matter. And Jenga Boy currently is in a position where he's already got a 6-point advantage. So I think it's pretty obvious that at the moment this is advantage Williams. Anything can change though. If Jenga Boy bins it, the title goes to Mercedes as it stands. So, because then Chimp also gets P10 as well, which is an extra bonus point for Mercedes. For Williams, damage limitation. For Mercedes, they've got to hammer it. I mean, if anything, like, McClaney's got to go for the win here on these softs. Has really got to push. Absolutely hammer every last ounce of those soft tyres and get himself in a position where he's winning this race. Because that's the only way he's going to be able to do it. That's the only way he's going to be able to win the title for him. Oh, this could get interesting. This could be interesting. I think we're going around for another lap of the safety car by the looks of it. I believe we are... Oh, sorry. I believe we are indeed, actually. Yeah, we are. Another lap of the safety car. That's just another lap advantage softs. For every lap we spend under the safety car is just that bit more chance that the soft tyres were the better choice. Oh no, we are in. They've left that late to tell us. We are in this lap. So, All of a sudden, advantage, I think the mediums probably, is going to be the AlphaTauri that gets us going. He's probably in one of the worst positions along with Astronomy, who are on old medium tyres. But he's going to get himself away, and he's going to get himself away pretty well. Astronomy, not so much with Jenga Boy just behind, so he'll be aiming to get past very, very soon. That's really his only hope in getting himself a possible podium for this race. Heck, even a win is on the cards. But Chaldinho as well, awfully close to the back of the AlphaTauri. I think we could possibly see a couple of moves into here. Look at this. That is Aston Martin, DRL Lancer, making a nice spectacular move on a Jonathan. So that gets him up into P8. Just behind, though, we're starting to get a couple of cars going side by side, and that is Jenga Boy up into P3 as it stands. Even more advantage Williams, as now Chaldinho nearly a second ahead of them. Is now a second ahead of Jenga Boy. Means that there is that bit of a gap between them that could cause some problems. McClaney, though, does want to go for the move, doesn't he? Look at this. He's going to launch it round the inside of Astronomy through that long left-hander. Does he come out in front? No, he doesn't, but they're going to touch briefly and continue going side by side. Now down into the tight right. It's inside line for the Alpine and gets that move secured well. That's a very good defensive actions there. ZN, look at this. ZN has really come through the pack already and gotten himself up into P6 as well. Chimp up to P7 as well. So all of a sudden, those Mercedes cars looking really, really good. In fact, Gabby, all the way down in P13, means that this is points. This is points on the board for Mercedes, and they need these points. These could be the difference between the championship win and the championship loss. And look at this. He is desperate to now. Oh, wow. Look at this. Already the two Mercedes teammates nearly level with each other. I think now it's a battle with ZN, who sits in between them. And I think McClaney is going to get himself past Astronomy here. So now it's another 2-car gap between them. But it is a benefit nevertheless, as they get themselves into positions where I think championship could be on here. Championship could well and truly be on here. There's a yellow flag in Sector 2, but that has been greened. Nothing to report there. ZN and the Alpine are now going to go at it. ZN manages to sneak his way past, but not fully. They're still going to go side by side. And I think that is going to be ZN, yeah, quite comfortably in the end there, as he gets awfully close to the back of that Mercedes. As McClaney and Chimp now sit P4 and 7 respectively. We've got a yellow flag in Sector 3 at the moment. And that is Windex Bottle Cap that's had a bit of a nightmare, but he's got himself going again. And we're back to green flag racing. Chaldinho picking up the fastest lap of the race at the moment. Currently sits 8 tenths of a second in front of the AlphaTauri, who sits another 1.4 in front of Jenga Boy. Interestingly, though, there is quite a gap between Jenga Boy and McClaney. 2 seconds, to be precise. Which could be the buffer that's needed for Jenga Boy to continue to pick up this result. I'm going to have to open my calculator, aren't I? There's a 6-point gap between them. Look at this, all coming down now. This is just close, isn't it? McClaney and Chimp now sit side by side, P5 and 6. That is tight. That's really tight. So we got 18, 15, 12, 10, 8, 6, 4, 2, 1. So Jenga Boy is picking up 15 points as it stands. McClaney and Chimp combined, P5 and 6, pick up 18 points, so that's a 3-point advantage. It's not enough. Williams still win by 3 points as it stands. Even if you got McClaney up into P4, that would still give it a 1-point win. So as of right now, McClaney and Chimp both have to increase their positions by a single position, and then they win. That's close. That's really close, as they've just swapped places as well, importantly. And Gabby is beginning to get himself up into positions, but safety car. We've got a safety car. 5 laps to go. Safety car. Everyone boxes onto soft tyres. Surely. Surely. This could get interesting. This could get interesting. There's not even a 6-point gap between them. There's a 7-point gap between them. So as it stands, who got pole? Haas. Who's fastest lap? Fastest lap could decide the championship. May I say that? Whoever's got fastest lap right now, Cialdino. Cialdino is currently fastest lap, 24.4. It's very possible that Jenga Boy could pick it up, as well as Chimp, as well as McClaney. They could all pick it up. It's an extra point, as long as you finish in the top 10, but a point could mean a lot right now. I think it's a matter of, does everyone box? He doesn't. Cialdino does not box. Ilian does box. Jenga Boy does not box. ZN boxes. Chimp, McClaney stay out. Fewer boxing, and when only a few box and a lot don't, we're going to have a run to the finish now. This is now just a straight run to the finish. Your order is final, pretty much. I mean, there might be 1 or 2 changes now, but huge advantage softs this additional safety car. Well, we haven't got much longer of this race to go. Cialdino currently sits in the lead with Jenga Boy up into P2 because of Ilian deciding to box. Interestingly enough, fresh mediums. Not quite sure what he was going with that interesting one there. Either way, that gives Jenga Boy 28 points as it stands. And P4 and 5 collectively take home 22 points, which is a 4-point advantage for Mercedes. No, it's not, because Gabby is up into 2 points. So it's only a 2-point advantage for Mercedes as of right now, which isn't obviously 7 points. So, in theory, what has to happen? Chimp needs to get past ZN and Jenga Boy. That'll put him P2 at 18 points. That'll put Jenga Boy at P with 15 points. That's a 3-point advantage already. Plus then McClaney's P5, which is a 10-point. That's 13 points advantage. All of a sudden, that is a huge advantage. That's a 9-point advantage. So really, Chimp needs to secure a P2 here. And I mean, as it is, that's going to be tough. That's going to be really tough. Chimp or McClaney need to rise. They need to get up these positions, and it is going to be Cialdino that runs away with it considerably. But look at this. Interestingly enough, ZN is right on the back of Jenga Boy, and it's a mistake by Jenga Boy, who hits the back of ZN, or ZN goes into the back of him. That closes the barrier for Chimp, who's now really up and close with these, who got lost a little bit on the safety car restart. So a battle between the Haas and the Williams could open the opportunity for the Mercedes to get themselves through and get themselves into some good positions. But I think the Haas might have some damage here, so he might not be as fast as we've seen him all race so far. Everybody's topped up on ERS as well, so we're going to see some absolute madness going into these last couple of laps. We've got 4 more laps of racing to go, and Jenga Boy currently sits at the position, a good position right now, as JST tries to get himself past Astronomy, who's P6 at the moment, so not interfering. Gabby up to P8 as well, importantly. That is an additional 2 points for Williams at the moment. So they are absolutely running away with this as of right now. And look at this. The Haas is trying to go round the inside and does get the move made. But no, the Williams is still with him with the inside line. Now it's going to be tight. This is an absolutely perfect opportunity for the Mercedes to catch up and try and mix in, try and interfere, try and add to the fight. But as of right now, they're still side by side. Jenga Boy knows how important this position is to him possibly walking home with the championship today. So he's continuing to fight. He's going to use every ounce of ERS he's got. They're still side by side now. Jenga Boy, as the outside line, gets the move done. That's absolutely vital for him winning this race, winning the championship. But look at this. The Mercedes is going to go for the move now. He's going to have to take the outside line, and with Jenga Boy just in front of him, but Jenga Boy will cut to the inside, which will probably hold off the possibility of the Haas. They're outside of that yellow flag zone, so that means the Mercedes can soar right through to P3. Chip up to P3 right now, but McClaney has lost the place to JSD, who moves to P5, but he's got a time penalty, but so does Jenga Boy. I didn't even think about time penalties. It's a 3-second time penalty. In fact, all of a sudden, huge charges. And what's happened to Chim? Chim's off the track. That's absolutely devastating for the Mercedes driver. And so is McClaney. What on earth has happened there? Both Mercedes out of the point scoring positions as Jenga Boy and Gabby are now P2 and P6 respectively, as it's an absolute colossal battle here right now with Gabby and the two Hasses, as Jenga Boy beginning to pull away with it a little bit. Jonathan has managed to find his way up to P4 at the moment, but with 8 seconds of time penalties means it's probably not going to last for very long. We're on lap 27 going on 28, and all of a sudden it's fallen into the hands of the Williams drivers. They're really not going to have to worry about their penalties anymore. All they need to do is finish in the points. Because as it would stand, Chimp would need to get up to P7 if both of the Williams somehow fell out of the points playing positions to get... Oh, no, sorry, not even P7. P6 he would need. So that's going to be a really tall order. I think for both Mercedes that have obviously had quite a major incident here. I'm not too sure what happened. I didn't see it. I was too focused on Jenga Boy in front, who was currently fighting us. Look at this. Cat is trying to go for a move on the Haas. Gets the move done nicely as well. And oh, it's going to be a late lunge on JST. Sorry, ZN gets it done as well. Fair enough. That's an incredibly late dive, but he's managed to go for it and he's made it stick. So, you know what? I can't even complain. As just look in front, that is ZN now going for the move on the inside of Jonathan, who does hold it very nicely around the outside. And he's done an absolutely spectacular job there. As JST now on 5 seconds of time penalty. Not quite sure where he's got it from. Oh, God, that got very close there with Can. I think some contact was indeed made, but all of a sudden that's opened the other door for ZN to try and get back through once again, who's actually looking for a P2 right now, or possibly maybe a P3. I'm not too sure. Either way, though, he's picking up an excellent amount of lack of penalties, and it will really pay dividend in just the end of this lap. Oh, P11 and P13 for the Mercedes drivers means the championship has been decided pretty certainly. When you got two cars in points playing positions with a 6-point advantage, it's almost certain now that Williams will walk home with the Constructors' Championship. It's what I predicted would occur. And look at this. Jonathan absolutely soaring. Gets himself up into P2 pre-penalties. So fair enough to him. Deserved. He's absolutely flying around this track right now. As I think everything is beginning to settle down a little bit. A couple of moves being made towards the back of the grid. And that is, I think, Jono stopped on track. But let's take a little talk to somebody we haven't mentioned much during this race. It's this guy right here, the Red Bull. Cialdini. He's driven absolutely fantastically. No one can sit here and say that he hasn't, because, my God, it's a 5-second advantage in a race that's had everything. 3-4 safety cars. I'm not actually too certain. I wasn't counting. I got to a point where I didn't count. But for the final race of the season, he comes home and Cialdini wins in Abu Dhabi. And next across the line is Jonathan, then Jenga Boy, and it's just falling down the pecking order, as I believe now ZN is the final man. And what on earth is happening here as everybody scrambles to get across the line, and it's all of a sudden going to be Jonathan holds P5 all of a sudden, and Kat manages to get himself up into P3. JST finishes P4, and ZN finishes P5. And well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. I imagine the F1 Drivers Chat is going to be going absolutely bonkers right now. Well, congratulations to the Red Bull driver. It was a phenomenal race for them. They've done absolutely brilliantly. From third to P8, I'm happy. Should be P7. Gabby will get a pen. Well, congratulations, Roberto Moss. That was a good drive. Good climbing order, but congratulations to the finishers and congratulations to Williams Racing for picking up the championship. Well, Chaldinho finishes in first place with Jenga Boy in P2. Car finishes P3 with JST in P4. Jonathan finishes P5 with ZN in P6. Gabby P7 and Roberto Moss in P8. Chimp P9 and Iliam P10. McClaney P11 and Diron Lancer P12. P13 goes to Jono and PA14, Windex Bottlecap, Astronomy P15, Chap P16, Issyboy Alfie P17, and Wavedree P18, with the bottom three not finishing. So, I think basically what's occurring right now, utter chaos. Whoa. Yeah, no one's happy with each other. Yeah, no one's happy. No one's happy. Oh dear. Oh dear. I am so glad I'm not a. I am so glad I'm not a steward because what is going on in this chat is unholy. Um, no one's happy. Everyone's fighting. They're calling every word under the sun. I mean, I'm reading this. Like, I've I've always been anyone let them be. Thank you. Yeah, it's always a shame to see. I mean, right at the end of a season, everyone should be happy. Everyone should be like, yeah, it's been a good season. It's been solid. We're happy with it. But there we go. That's what happens when titles get involved. Either way, thank you all very much for joining. I've been the Characteristics, and small announcement before we finish today. I'm hereby announcing that I've been offered another drive for Sundays, so this is my last comms. I know, big sad. Um, I'd love to be here all season because it's been really good racing overall for the races that I have attended, but unfortunately for the last sort of month or so, or 2 months really, I've had major problems and I've been pretty much out of commentary entirely. Um, but yeah, thank you for all having me. Thank you for being patient and everything. It's been really enjoyable talking over these guys. They are, for the most part, very clean, very good drivers. And you know what happens in the group chat stays in the group chat. We'll ignore that bit. We'll talk about the on-track action because it has been really good over the season. I have sort of tried to watch as and where I can, even if I couldn't comms. Um, but yeah, thank you all very much for joining me. I've been the Cartesistics, and good night.